Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something you and I use literally every single day, but probably don't think twice about. The web form. From logging into your email to grabbing concert tickets, they're just everywhere. And because they're everywhere, we've all felt that pain when they go wrong.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You spend 10 minutes filling out the super long form, you get to the end, you hit submit, and bam! Red error message. And the worst part, the whole form is now blank. All that work just gone. It's a universal, hair-pulling experience, and today we're going to find out why it happens.
Well, that frustration, it exists for a very specific reason. Behind every single one of those submit buttons, developers are wrestling with a fundamental conflict. It's a two-sided problem that forces them to choose between making things easy for you and keeping the website secure.
And we call this the form's dilemma. It's this constant, tricky balancing act. How do you meet the user's need for a smooth, easy experience while also protecting the application from, being attacked? These two goals are almost always fighting each other.
Let's break that down. On one side, you have the user. For them, the form needs to be like a helpful guide. It should catch your typos, make sure your phone number is in the right format, and generally make it hard to mess up. That's all about user experience. But on the other side, you have the application itself. It needs to be a security guard, protecting itself from bad data that could crash the server, or worse, steal private information. It's a classic battle, helpful guide versus tough security guard.
All right, so let's start with the user side of things. How do we build that helpful, friendly guide? Well, the first part of the answer, and the one we see all the time, is something called client-side validation. So, client-side just means it happens right there in your web browser, on the client's machine. Think of it as an instant spell check for that form. And as the experts at MDN WebDocs point out, its main job isn't security. Not at all. Its whole purpose is to give you instant feedback so you can fix your mistakes before you even hit submit.
And the really cool thing is, a lot of this friendly guidance can be built with just basic HTML. No complex code needed. You can just add a little attribute like type to tell the browser you're expecting an email or a number, or add required to make sure a field isn't left blank. You can even use things like pattern to make sure the input matches a very specific format. It's a simple but powerful toolkit.
So here's how it works in practice. Let's say you have an email field. First, you just set the type to email. Boom! The browser now knows to look for an @ symbol. Easy enough, right? Then you can add the required attribute. Now the user can't even submit the form if that field is empty. And if you want to get really specific, you can add a pattern. This one's a bit silly, but it means the form would literally only accept the word banana or cherry, nothing else.
But here's something that's absolutely crucial. A truly friendly guide has to be an accessible guide. This is non-negotiable. It means using things like the label tag to connect the text description directly to the input field, which is a huge deal for people using screen readers. It means grouping checkboxes with a field set so it's clear they belong together, and it means writing error messages that actually make sense to a human. This ensures the form works for everyone.
Okay, so our friendly guide is great for users. It makes forms less annoying. It seems like a perfect solution, right? Well, here's the twist. Our friendly guide is, it's a bit naive. It's really easy to fool. And that's why, and I can't stress this enough, client-side validation is not a security measure. I mean, listen to this quote from MDN WebDocs. It's basically the golden rule of web development. Warning, never trust data passed to your server from the client. You should probably get that tattooed somewhere. Why? Because everything we've just talked about, the required field, the pattern check, it all happens in the user's browser, which means the user has total control over it.
And because the user is in control, it's shockingly easy for a bad actor to just bypass these checks. They can pop open the developer tools in their browser and just turn off JavaScript. Or they could write a script to intercept the data after it leaves the form and change it to whatever they want before it ever gets to your server. Our friendly little guide would never even know what happened.
Let me give you a really scary, concrete example. There's a nasty type of malware out there called form grabbing. It can live on a person's computer, and what it does is it steals information directly from the form fields as you type it in. It captures everything:
even stuff you autofill or paste in. It happens before any validation and even before the data is encrypted and sent securely. Terrifying, right?
And it doesn't stop there. Another classic and really dangerous attack is called cross-site scripting, or XSS. This is where an attacker doesn't put their name in the name field, but instead injects a piece of malicious code. If the application doesn't catch this on the back end, it might actually save that code and then display it to other users, which could then steal their login info or hijack their accounts.
So, if our friendly guide can be so easily tricked, what's the answer? Well, we need something stronger. We need a bouncer at the club door, an unseen guardian that checks everybody's ID no matter how nice they look. And this brings us to the absolutely non-negotiable role of server-side validation. Unlike our friendly guide, server-side validation happens on your server, on your turf, after the data has been sent. This is the application's final, authoritative security checkpoint. And it operates on one simple, beautiful principle. Trust absolutely nothing that comes from the client.
The Open Web Application Security Project, or OWASP, has this fantastic phrase for the goal here. They call it perfect injection resistance. And the way you achieve it is by ensuring that all variables, every single piece of data that comes in, are checked, validated, and cleaned up. You have to assume everything is hostile until proven otherwise. No exceptions.
So let's put these two side by side one more time. You've got client-side validation, our friendly guide. Its role is user experience, it's fast, but it's totally unreliable for security. Then you have server-side validation, our unseen guardian. Its role is pure security. It's a little slower because the data has to travel to the server and back, but it is absolutely essential, and the only authoritative check that matters.
So which one do you pick? The fast and friendly guide or the tough and vigilant guardian? Well, it's a trick question. You don't pick one. The only right answer, the absolute best practice, is that you need both.
Here's the complete solution. It's a team effort. You use the friendly guide, the client-side validation, to give your users a great, smooth experience and help them succeed. But you always back it up with the vigilant guardian, the server-side validation, to protect your application and treat all incoming data as untrustworthy. If you skip one, you're either going to have really frustrated users or you're going to have a massive security hole.
And that leaves us with a final question to think about for any project you're working on. Is your form doing both jobs? Is it a helpful guide for your users and a vigilant guardian for your application? Or are you just leaving the front door wide open? Thanks for tuning in.